Welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Something that makes me very happy is the Elfstones of Shannara and good fantasy. Good fantasy, not fantasy that sucks. Who wants to watch fantasy that sucks or read fantasy that sucks when you've got the good stuff from people like Terry Brooks, Raymond Feist, you've got Dragonlance, you've got Forgotten Realms, R.A. Salvatore, and today we are talking about the Elfstones of Shannara. I have my panel here all back together. The gang is here from a nearby place, not in the future. It is Princess Rennie herself.
Hey, good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Steve. Great to be back. I hope you guys are doing well this Saturday morning. It's nice and cool here, which I don't know if you guys know, but I love cold weather. So I'm excited. I'm in a cute little sweater and everything. So,
yeah. No, I hate colder. Well, depends. It depends. I don't like rainy weather necessarily, but, I can survive. I've got special lights that adjust for me so I can
nice.
get the feeling of sunlight.
You all bougie.
Well, why not? Well,
exactly.
Better than bitching. But
Girl,
yeah. But as long as I can go to the gym, I'm a happy camper. As long as there's a gym, I can survive. Though I think that what we consider cold weather is not what someone else on this panel would consider cold weather. The one, the only from the future. It is Steve Kenobi.
Hello. How do you do, both of you?
Oh, I forgot to say he's really from Downton Abbey, but yeah.
Doing well, sir. How are you?
Yes, Sir Steve. Steve, how's the future?
Well, it's getting chilly where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the winter winds kind of. But yeah, other than that, it's my physical batteries are at 67%, as is my hatred level is also at a mild 76% today. So things aren't that bad.
Well, I guess that's something to look forward to. There you go.
Those are good numbers, sir.
Yeah. I mean, how could you be upset when you've got your northern lights?
I sleep through them.
I don't see how. That's crazy. Well, I guess maybe because
well, it's when I'm sleeping, I'm not looking out through the window.
Well, you kind of need to start doing that.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna judge you when I steal your identity and take over your home. I'm gonna watch the Northern Lights every freaking night.
That's right.
They're over not his there every freaking night.
How do you know? You sleep through it.
That's right.
All right. Well, let's say hi to the chat. Ara is here. Hello, Ara. Thank you for being here. Steve is here blaming you. Freddie will never be the same. Okay. Redneck Gringa. Welcome. If you have not already liked, shared, and subscribed, please do so. Welcome to Miss Smart Muses. Hello, Jacob Ironside saying hello to Teresa, Rennie, and Stieg. Stieg does not get a rose, but Rennie and I do, but that's okay.
Yay.
Howdy, says Keck. Hello, thank you. Hello, thank you. Timon. Yeah, Timon was my guest on Thursday. You can see the World Cup and anything soccer, aka football, for the rest of us. So that was a very fun string. He explained a lot of things. We shared stories. A good time. World Cup starting up. Redneck Gringa says, I never knew what was the proper pronunciation of Shannara until last month, and I first read the sword back in 1986. Yeah. I had to ask.
It's Shannara.
Yeah. But I think that you could say Shannara too. If you didn't know better. And that's
but
the thing.
It has two N's.
Oh, crud. Is that some rule in English that we don't know because we speak it?
Well, don't forget, Stieg is grammar police.
Yeah, he's a grammar. I didn't know this. So if there's something with two N's, there's supposed to be emphasis somewhere else?
Well, Terry Brooks says it's Shannara.
Well, okay. There you go.
Well, but I never heard him say it. Okay. Timon Flip says, ask Stieg if you have if I still have to cheer for the USA. Yes, Deeg.
No,
What do you
not anymore. Not after they removed the flag from their shirts and replaced it with rainbow shit.
Well, technically, they're not
Yeah,
representing
if
America anymore.
yeah,
Oh dear, that's
if
ridiculous.
if they're not wearing the flag that they're representing, they don't get the support from the flag either. They've tossed it away, so they can fuck themselves.
Well, I guess there's your answer. So now I can root for Brazil because I can. My sister is taking umbrage with that because we're supposed to root for Ireland, and if we can't root for Ireland, we're supposed to root for France. So,
Well, I can root for whoever I wish because Norway never qualifies.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
that's just sad.
but I'm a big fan of the Premier League, so I always root for England. That doesn't mean I'm from Downton Abbey, though.
No, not at all. It's just a coincidence. He drinks tea. He sounds like a British lord, an English lord, and he's rooting for England in the World Cup. You all decide. That's how I pronounced it in my head. Said redneck. Good. Okay. Well, one more question before we move on to the book, Steve. But what if they're only doing it during the practice? Because they won't do it in Qatar when they're playing the matches. They're just doing it when they're training at Qatar.
Well, that just means that they're even more pathetic. They're just using it for posturing, where nobody really sees it. That's cowardly.
Oh, well,
so they're basically just half in.
Yeah, because if they did do it during the match, they'd be, disqualified because you're not allowed to have anything but your country on the flag, on your jerseys during the World Cup. Which is good because, you don't, have issues. Well, okay. Well, there you have it. I'm all in for Brazil, even if my family has issues with that. So, not in Brazil and not in the World Cup. It is the wrong book. The Elfstones of Shannara. We did 6 chapters this time around. Any overall thoughts, Rennie?
Pretty good chapters. I did read ahead. I don't know why I was thinking 8 still. So I did read ahead, and it gets pretty creepy as well. So yeah, very intense stuff going on here.
Oh, yay. Okay, yeah. Well, see, we did on the Cimmerals and the Unrest of the Noldor. That's what we're talking about today. Everyone leaves the chat. Well, I think the reason why we decided to only do 6 was because of the length. It turned out that the length of these chapters was going to be different than the first 80. For the first 8.
That makes sense because I'll be honest, it was a real struggle to finish them. So, yeah, that makes complete sense. I'm like, oh man, I'm not going to finish these chapters.
Oh no!
And
well, now
really
you'll be ahead for next week. You'll be ahead for
Exactly.
next week. Oh boy. Okay, and Stieg.
Well, I read the chapters the day after the last time we had a stream, or rather the evening before, I think, or after. I just I'll read some more. And like Rennie says, that this book has more of a horror element than the first one did.
All right. Yeah. I also felt like there was more action.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, there were some pretty interesting characters that we meet in this segment.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. We got some new characters and we got some more lore.
And another face from the last book showed up a little bit.
Oh yes, and I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, so we're getting little cameos. It's like, I know him. I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. I do have a bit of a presentation here. Share screen. Meanwhile, previously on the Sword of Shannara. I mean, gosh darn it! I can't. Wrong friggin' book.
Picture a sword and a stone, and then look for differences.
I picture the Elfstones looking like gems, since like every time you hear about them, they're perfectly shaped and cut and stuff. So I picture them looking like gemstones, like, you know, like basically how they cut a diamond or whatever before they put it in a ring.
Well, there you are. Yeah, I should find a picture of that. But here is, well, this is the map, the more localized map that we have. I also brought up the big map.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Me like colors.
yeah, Rennie likes bright, shiny things.
Yes.
So to get some perspective, this is that Westland area where the smaller map was. I haven't found a color one with the little one, and here is the territories that we know. We're still starting over here. Where was it? It's by the Rainbow Lake where the stores are. Where the heck are? Oh, there it is. Storlock. That's where we are right now because Al-Anon is finding Will and they're about ready to go to find Amberly. And what are they needing to do? Oh, wait, wrong character. Oh, fudge. There it is. Oh, crap. I didn't realize this was from the movie. Shoot me now.
Yeah,
But
this is bad.
I'm sorry. I just realized because I saw it said MTV on the cover. Oh, frack. Well,
Now,
because
this is from the train wreck.
Okay, but can you at least say that the tree looks okay?
No.
Okay.
Rude.
Fine. Okay. I was gonna say the L crease, but the L crease is supposed to be red. Right?
I guess.
Okay, fine. All right, I'll get it off of there. Let's go back to the map. My gosh. All right. I got so excited because I was being very careful not to have any spoilers for me. And I said, "Oh, look, that pretty tree looks like it." And it wasn't until I just put it up on that big screen that I saw the evil MTV in the corner. Well, then you need to find me a better picture, Steve. Hello, Stephen Ransom. Thank you for being here. He's saying hello, chat. Rennie, Stieg, and coffee with a book. Yes, Elfstones of Shannara. Alrighty, well, let's just jump right into it. We are going to be continuing with chapter 9. Needless to say, this is a spoiler stream. So if anyone please don't get upset at me. We are going to go in detail where Al-Anon goes over to Will and say, okay, time to go. And his uncle is like, oh my gosh, they barely told me, but fine, maybe you'll be okay. You got to go find Amberly. And then off they went. There was Flick was still having his quote unquote obvious doubts. And Will was even wondering deep down, why am I being brought here? Now, is this something that maybe Al-Anon had some sort of premonition about Will? Did we determine that? Or is it just because he's a healer and he could heal what's her face if she gets impaled? Amberly.
It's because he can use the Elfstones.
Yeah, that's what my thought was, is because he's Shay's grandson. So he's like, oh yeah, we need him to do the Elfstones.
Okay, just shoot me now. We talked about that last time. The Elfstones were the reason. Gosh darn it.
Hence the title, maybe.
I know. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna throw out that question. Fuck that question. Pardon my French. Now I'm dropping it. I'm a failure as a human being for not making the connection. Okay, Elfstones. You see, I will admit it when I'm an idiot. Okay, I will admit it. Redneck Gringa says red leaf silver arc like Game of Thrones, huh? Or rather the other way around. Game of Thrones like that. Bacon.
Well, both of them are
Oh,
based
yeah.
on the both of them are based on the three of life.
True.
So from Norse mythology.
There you go. Heard it here first. Matt brought us bacon. Jacob Ironside says, Brandy, like shiny things, whatever you do, don't show her your fishing tackle box. She will get hooks on her fingers.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So just forget anything I ever said because I'm an idiot. And off they go to find Amberly, but they are concerned. Alan on. He says that the elves and their brethren, they resisted all change. Oh yeah, and he gives us a big long lore story. That's what's also going on here. So that the elves were actually around for like during our time. That they were the elves and the fairies that we give names to them. And of course, it says about them resisting all change because they fear change. They're like me, and so they distrusted humans, and they consider humans to be creatures of ill fortune. Oh no, the humans that they earned the distrust of humans that saw them to be as creatures of ill fortune. And that's something that I remember from Ireland, is that the fairies were terrible, terrible things that would come and like ruin your butter and steal your children, etc. So we get a little bit of lore here, and the reasons why the elves survived the big nuclear holocaust was because there were so many of them in so many different parts of the earth that the Holocaust simply missed a few of them. And then they were able to come and thrive. And then Will says something about, but they have no magic. Only their druids did. So the elves also lost their magic. So help me out here, Steve. You know the lore a little better than I am. Am I getting this right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I understood from what I read. So
basically, they kind of ceased to be fairy creatures after a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or after centuries or eons, who knows? And they lost their ability to create and use magic, really, which is why the Elfstones are important. They're relics from a bygone era.
Okay. Yeah, and it says, it's a magic item from the old from the old world, rather. And the three Elfstones, one's for the heart, one's for the mind, and one's for the body of the user, and all three must unite as one. So there. So yay me. Stephen said,
I found a picture of them.
Oh, thank you. And I'm assuming that it is it's better than the one I came up with. I've already ruined everything. Stephen Ransom says, ruin your butter and steal your children.
In that
oh my
order,
goodness.
the butter is important.
Oh, yeah.
I think one of those I could live with. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's in the context of Ireland and the butter trade. It was actually literally like gold, Kerrygold and all that. That now the British, of course, I wouldn't say stole it all, but they had in Cork City, they had like this butter cinder, and they like supplied butter all over the world. So losing your butter was a big deal. And wait, is that some sort of dirty word to lose your butter? I'm not sure.
Only if you use it as lube, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. Let's share the screen here. Well, yeah, the whole thing about changelings. They'd come in and they'd steal your and you wouldn't even know that your child was kidnapped because there would be like a fake kid in your place, but it would be like this demon child. Here we go. Here's the Elfstones of Shannara. So this is what it's all about.
That's
I have a pouch like that.
Mhm.
I put D&D dices in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say my dice came in one of those.
Well, aren't you fancy?
She all fancy.
Mine is from a kind of Viking museum.
Well, I guess you're more special than I am then.
No, it's that they made them. You know, it's new, but it's made in old tradition.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's not from the Viking era.
No, I understand. Yep, that's cool. Hands off my butter, take the kids. Exactly.
Fair enough.
Well, to this day, you don't say their names. You don't say their. Okay, I say names all the time. Fairy, 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 fairy. But so help me, whenever I visit Ireland.
Well, you can't visit there now after what you just did.
Oh, well, I said fairy out loud because the fairies are going to get me. No, for reals. I was on a tour in Kerry, was it? I believe, or Dingle. I forget which one. And I was trying to explain to this dude next to me because we were seeing fairy forts. This dude next to me, he was from like China or somewhere. And I was like, oh, yeah, but, we don't talk. You don't really talk about fairies. And I said, fairy, right? And the bus driver right in front of me, he like cocked his head. And he's like, why don't you talk about fairies? And I went, actually, we're not supposed to say that word. He said, what word? And I said, that word. And then the bus driver goes, yes, we don't say that out loud. Even today, like you won't say it out loud. You call them the good people or the people or the folk or something. Goblin King, Goblin King. There you go. I dig my side. Those fairies, they steal the children, but they really do have to make the butter go bad. Yeah, I know. What a bunch of jerks. So you heard it here first. But sooner than I thought, we run into Amberly. And she is running a little school. She's this little elf that's running a school with a bunch of kids. And I love the way that she is very, okay, so what? You're here. And they're saying, you're the last of the chosen. And she's like, the last? He's like, yes, they're all dead. The demons have found and killed them, and they now search for you. And then she just kind of goes, kind of feck off. I'm not part of it, even though they just told her that a bunch of demons are coming. And she said, well, okay, fine, we'll talk about it tomorrow. And then she tells him, you can just sleep out here in the garden. I loved that, Steve. What'd you think about this first impression?
Yeah, it's pretty good, introduces the character quite well, and yeah.
Rennie, of course, this is your real first impression, since this is the first time reading it. I was amused. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I loved it. She held her ground with Al-Anon. He was like, he was asking for help. And she's like, yeah, I'll sleep on it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. He's like, yeah, but this is urgent. I said, we'll talk about it tomorrow. I was like, she ain't playing, So I don't know. I really respected that. And it's like, yeah, I said, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
She also put all the kids at risk by doing that.
But she didn't realize it. She just, I think she was too wrapped up in, what she went through with whatever happened. And, the whole struggle with like, I don't think I can really go back home, so to speak. And, so I think for her, she had to weigh the pros and cons before she decided if she wanted to go or not.
Yeah. Though they did just get done saying, however, that the demons were coming. So
yeah.
Oh, gee. Oh, wait, I think I put the wrong number up there. That wasn't chapter 9. That was chapter 10. So sorry, everyone. I hope it didn't ruin your life. Yeah. But luckily, with even though the demons are coming, they didn't come. They all survived till the next morning. And she just was it? She said she was just going to tell one of the older kids, just take the kids and send them home. Say school's over. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, hello, zombie box. Redneck Gringa says maybe it was her royal heritage not being easily pushed around. Go sleep in the garden. Yeah, Jacob Ironside. Cons. Demons that rip you apart. Yes. Yes. Oh, gee. So I liked it. So I guess I can't say too much because we're going to mention it in the next chapter. So now we're really on chapter 11 because that was chapter 10 because I lied. And chapter 9 was a goodbye and I suck. It starts off with a nightmare because in chapter 11, it says the creatures came for Will through the sluggish haze of his sleep. And I'm like, son of a bitch, it happened. So he fooled me, even though it was a dream. And the poor bastard sleeping in the garden. So, oh yeah, and he's looking at Amberly, and she's sitting there in her nightgown. He's like, I told you to get dressed. And she said, you would not seek to trick me, Druid. This would not be some game you are playing. Oh, okay, so that's why she's being so suspicious. At this point, I wanted to smack her in the face and say, oh my gosh, girl, just go.
Yeah, get over yourself. You need to save, not necessarily humanity, but you need to save, your people.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Or, and even if
probably humanity.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, the whole world, yeah, because these people were like Garden of Eden. I think that was also that he implied that that's where the Garden of Eden story came from those myths. That was how humans had understood this whole Eltrees thing. But at least, even if she didn't believe about saving humanity, it's like, do you want to get ripped apart by demons? That sucks.
Yeah. That's not a good way to go, man.
Yeah. So finally, I guess she gets convinced because the demons show up and he puts them on a horse and he says, if we become separated, do not turn back. Ride north until you reach the Silver River. If I do not come at once, cross and ride west to Alberlon. And he's like, what will you do? And Alanon goes, don't worry, just do as you are told. And off they went on. I'm going to butcher the name. What the hell's the name of the horse? I want to call him Atkins, but that's not his name.
Artek.
Thank you. Atkins is the diet, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was all about the low carbs.
No carbs.
Yeah. Protein. Yeah. Before keto, there was Atkins. Well, if they did eat the horse, it would be an Atkins diet.
Yeah. No carbs there. You're good to go.
Mm-hmm. And that's why Matt always brings us the bacon.
That's right.
And then this is where what I was talking about when I was talking about the action scene, because they're sitting there being chased by these demon things, all this action's happening, and they're all about to get caught when they reach the edge of the Silver River.
Oh, well, also they introduced demon wolves.
Oh,
that's what's chasing them.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
and,
you get demon wolves. Sorry.
And Alanon gets separated from them before they get to the Silver River.
Yes, correct. So it was very convenient that he warned them beforehand what they were supposed to do if they got separated. Yeah. And the demon wolves, well, I don't like demons in general, but there were also the cat things. It says cat things, literal word here. It's like, okay, thank you, Brooks.
Yeah, well, it's because they don't know, Amberly and Will don't know that they're called Furies.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's from their point of view.
Yes.
Oh,
Eleanor
yeah.
knows what they are.
Okay. Thank you. And yeah, thank you, chat, for helping me out there. So anyway, so off they go, and then as the Atkins leaps into the Silver River, a like big bright light bursts about them. The Silver River vanished, and everything was gone, and they were alone, rising upward in a slow, steady climb into the light. And I was going, what the actual F? Rennie, what did you think when that happened?
I was like, oh, hopefully this is someone saving them, at first. It's like, oh, maybe they're saved, because Al-Anon said if anything happens, to keep going. Do not wait for him, just keep going. And get out of there, get to Arborlawn. And so yeah, when this event happened, I was like, wait, what? And then when you realize what it was and who it was, it's just like, oh, okay. Well, this is kind of a callback to the first book, so that was really cool. So I thought it was neat. And then, when they described their experiences, that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, and that's we're gonna get into it too in the next chapter. At first, well, the way they described it, it also could have been if this was a different book. It's like they're going into the light.
Yeah, it's like, well, did they die and go into the light? That is a very good call out, because that's kind of one of my initial thoughts as well.
Yep. But no, they're not dead. They're not dead yet. Well, and it would be a really
You know what
sucky
would have
book.
been fun though?
What?
If the light was them being abducted by aliens and the rest of the story just took place on an alien planet, completely separated, and the Shannara world just gets destroyed.
I don't know how much I would have liked that. That's too much.
I was gonna say that would be one of the best, the biggest subverting expectations. I think that would be possible. Oh my gosh. Well, that's a book that you can write, Steve.
No.
Oh,
the Aliens of Shannara.
Aliens. You heard it here first. Okay, thank you. BC, aka the New Dark Shadow. 5 days until Thanksgiving. Yes. Turkey. Who's ready to close down the curtain on 2022? I'm ready to close down the curtain on the whole planet. Oh, Jacob has a good point. He thought it was the Elfstones. That would actually have made sense.
Oh, that's kind of a cool thought.
Yeah. The Elfstones came and saved him. Yeah. Jacob says they're not dead. They're just mostly dead. Yeah. Well, and then when chapter 12 continues, we go into some lore. Before time became recorded, he was there. He was there in the time when the world was a sacred Eden and he had no name. And his existence was little more than a myth that became part of the folklore of nations building around him. It wasn't until the Great Wars that the myth began to gain acceptance of the truth, and he went out from the gardens, and now they call him the King of the Silver River. Dun, dun, dun. Again, the callback. But here's what I'm wondering. When they say that he became part of people's myths, are they trying to say that the King of the Silver River is what people like in our world call God?
I always thought he was he's like part of the old fairy world.
Yeah, I feel like he's either the original fairy creature or like a guardian angel type that people see him as. That's kind of what I thought of whenever it came to him, or maybe like a Tom Bombadil.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, but when it said that it came part of our myths and there was just one particular person, that's what I was thinking. Or if he's supposed to be Adam, or
he seems to be tied to the Silver River. He doesn't appear anywhere else.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I just can't stop thinking of him as, I don't know why my brain wants to call him the Fisher King instead of the King of the Silver River. but it just keeps going to that name. So I want to say King of the Silver River, but sometimes I'll say Fisher King when I'm thinking about him. And like, wrong book.
The Fisher King is in The Witcher, actually.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Well, there you have it. Liffy's God said, "Look, it's the Cimmerals. I mean, the Elfstones." Well, sort of, because the Cimmerals were something entirely different. The whole whatever trees, but the three. Well, 3 is often a common magical number. And Steve Ransom says, for starting Revelation on the origin of Eden, read the Lost Book of Enki by the great Zechariah Sitchin. Oh, okay. Well, I'll put that down. Oh. So he's a river god, and then it says, when he came to Will and Amberley in the disguise of an old man, wizen and bent, and he's all skinny, and then he looks at Amberley and says, "Child, that you were mine, no harm shall come to you. We are joined in purpose and shall be one with the earth." So he kind of Joe Biden's her a bit.
Creepy king.
He takes her hand. Yeah, doesn't sniff her hair though.
Oh, I was gonna say, did he smell her hair? I don't remember that, but
But then check this out. He goes, "Rest now, sleep." So I guess then he.
So Bill Cosby to her then.
Yes.
Oh no.
From Biden to Cosby.
You just can't catch a break, man.
Oh. So let me see. Children of Life. So I guess that he sees something about him. And Will, when he goes to sleep, it says he closed his eyes. The light seemed to draw back, falling into darkness. Yeah, because he never take a drink from a stranger. And then he began to dream. There were streams of shimmering silver and all this kind of really happy stuff. There's birds, there's silk, there's fish, there's happy animals. Everything was happy, and he's prancing around, singing songs, but Amberley's not there. Actually, I made up the part about singing songs, but it really reminded me of like a Disney princess moment there, especially with all the animals and everything being happy. So wherever Will went, it was somewhere ideal, but Amberley was something entirely separate. Why do you think Will had the happy place?
Maybe because he felt safe.
Yeah. Oh. Could be. Or do they just say, "Oh, fine, give him the happy dream and make it suck for Amberley"?
I would hope not, but I mean, it's a possibility. It seems kind of unfair.
It's probably because women are never happy anyway.
Oh.
Ouch.
Ow,
Well,
man, that's harsh.
You could say, and I don't know if you guys thought this way, but like, I think honestly, other than just feeling safe, I think there's something about the King of the Silver River that he emits. I don't know if it's the light he emits or whatever, but it brings peace and, calmness and stuff. And I think that really helped both of their states of mind so they could sleep. So.
Could be, yeah. And I'm moving on to 13 because that, I think it dovetails with it. But when they come to and Will asks Amberley, she said, "No, there were no gardens, just a darkness and a sensation I can't describe, a sort of reaching. You were standing there with me, but you couldn't see me. I called to you, but you didn't seem to hear me," which that was very nightmarish to me.
That's true. But I think because she has a different, with Will, because, he's basically her helper, but the mission is her mission. This is her quest, so to speak. So I think that was her mind projecting her fears. And she doesn't realize that she has such a, or maybe she's starting to realize she has such a great purpose, and there's so much on her shoulders that it just kind of weighed a little bit harder on her than she may have thought it would have.
Gosh darn it, Rennie. I'm so glad you're here because you make this sound intelligent. Because I'm just sitting around stumbling all over the place like Thor. And I'm like, and then you come out with that. That makes some sense. But at least I didn't forget me forgetting about the Elfstones in a book called The Elfstones of Shannara, though. That's the winner. So I don't know, Steeg. Is Rennie wrong or is she really wrong?
I'm not going to say anything because it might foreshadow something. This.
Oh, well, there you have it. Steve Ransom says, Steeg, I guess I'm a woman. I'm never happy.
Well, it's time for you to transition, honey. No, just kidding.
Oh, no. Hey, that's how rumors get started.
I know.
Jacob Ironside says, I think it showed her darkness because if she doesn't help the tree, that's what will happen. Everything will be darkness.
Oh, I like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up. And Steeg's sitting there going, no, you guys are all wrong. You don't know what the friend. But
the
we're not
answer.
spoiled.
That's right.
Well, he knew the answer to the Sword of Shannara. And we just kept saying, Aladon sucks. He never tells them anything.
I know. How do we even know he's a good guy?
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Steve's now trans, Ransom. Well, we're very welcoming and accepting here at Miss Martin Muses. No judgment here at all. We will support
All are
you.
welcome.
Yeah. I'll be like those idiots from Lord of the Rings, and we're an elf in Elvish. All are welcome here. A bunch of idiots. Yeah, I did a bit of a stream. That was one of the streams earlier today, this week with fan baiting. That's a new word that I guess really describes it. There's a bunch of bastards are fan baiting us. Let's see. Redneck Gringa says the way the Silver King addresses her, I thought he was acknowledging the Elven pledge to work with the land.
Oh, that's a pretty good thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 thumbs up. You see, everyone here is smarter than I am.
Oh, stop, Teresa.
No. I have no problem sucking at this stuff. See, people, that's why I say people, when they think I'm smart, it's like, you don't realize it's only because I've read things 10 times. And I got it after 15 years. But I'm loving this. I love all these comments. Okay, and I will shut up because I am not fishing. I hate people who fish. Like Steeg, he fishes all the time. No, the other kind of fishing.
Only so he can feed Snortopoopas. No,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's doing it for Snortopoopas.
I'm out every fucking day fishing for that damn polar bear.
Yeah, and he's not even here to appreciate it.
Hopefully he'll catch it on the replay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I understand. If people aren't reading the book, that this is definitely a niche stream. Let me put it to you that way. But when I was, of course, talking about metaphorical fishing, so I'm going to shut up now. Okay, I'm just, yeah. All right, Will, who are you? Says wait, who's asking this question?
Someone who doesn't know Will, I suppose.
Yes. Oh, that's what it is. Amberly, because they sit down and start to talk, and she said, Will Omsford, who are you? And if this were in a TV show, not the sucky one, but another one, her eyelids would flutter and he would stare and get embarrassed. It's like, oh
he'd
my
start
God.
blushing.
It's blushing. It's like she's coming on to him. So then she gets some exposition. Says Will told her everything, even the story of Shay. And then she goes, I don't know whether to believe you or not. Which makes sense. And then she asked a good question, to be honest. She says, how do you know these are Elfstones? He goes, I have my grandfather's word on it and Alanon's. She did not look impressed. And she's like, did you ever try them? It's like, no. Then why don't you know they're any good or not? And he says, I guess I'll have to wait and see. And the more you're thinking about it, it's like, what the fuck? They are so screwed.
Yeah. She keeps playing devil's advocate or like being skeptical with him. And it's like, well, why should I believe anything you say? It's like, this guy was put in this situation too. It's not like he really wants to be there. So I kind of feel sorry for Will at first because she's not very nice to him when they first
No.
I don't want to say get together, but when they first, go on this journey together. And I'm like, dude, cut the guy a break. Al-Anon nabbed him as well. It's not like he wants to be there.
Yeah.
So, but I understand, but still it's like he needs to be cut a break.
Yeah. But these are good questions though, because this is what's going to save our lives and save the world. And she's like, and you've never seen them work before? I mean, Shay says so, but he's an old grandpa. Speaking of revelations, Jacob Ironside says, I just figured something out. Stieg is Al-Anon. Uh-huh.
Well, I get in trouble for being too straightforward, though.
That's true. Yeah,
it's that monotone.
But I do brood.
Yes.
And I have my own library.
Mm-hmm. There you go. It's a secret location. But I think that was a worthwhile conversation.
I think it was cool because they connected about the fact that they're both there because of who their grandfathers are, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I liked it.
Yeah, she talks about her background as being a Lessendale, and that Edmontine's her grandfather. Yeah. And then they come to the conclusion, well, there's really nothing else we can do. Nothing else makes sense for us to do right now. We have to keep following this path. Steve Ransom says, hold the phone. Stieg is Al-Anon, so he is a parent that is AA. Oh, no. Yeah, here come the Al-Anon jokes. Yeah. Well, not just a parent, but it can be a loved one, a friend, or a relative that is in AA. Yeah.
Is that called an Al-Anon?
Yeah, it's a branch of Alcoholics Anonymous. It was founded by the wife of Bill W., the founder of AA. So it was for people that are in relationships or family members or close people who are alcoholics. It's a support group. And so it's still
a sobering thought.
Oh, yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, the anon for the anonymous, and the Al, I forget what the Al stands for. Alcoholic adjacent. I don't know. Yeah. So there we go. Well, he wouldn't be very anonymous if talking about it on his street. Poor Al-Anon. Well, he is a supporting person. So, to make a very long story short, they decide they're just going to keep going where they are going. And they're going to get Artek and find out. So, as they're minding their own business, they come across rovers. Someone appreciates your pun, by the way. Well played, Stieg. Hello, Boosh. And yes, so the rovers, now these are going to be really important to at least the next stage of the plot, and I'm assuming more.
Actually, very featured in the later books as well.
Oh, well, okay then. Now, rovers, because
they're gypsies, pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I got from it.
Yeah, even the way they dress and behave, there's a part of me that wonders if they would get away with that nowadays because it might be considered too much of a stereotype.
Oh, I'm not kidding when I say this, in the stupid MTV show loosely based on this book, they were living in an old abandoned school and watching Star Trek on DVD. Not kidding. That's how dumb that show was. DVDs last for 3,500 years, apparently.
Yeah, who knew? They can survive nuclear holocaust. They don't get melted or anything.
Yeah, they had electricity too.
That's quite amazing. So that's how they got around this gypsy stereotype.
And James Remar played the main one.
Hmm.
Totally looks like a gypsy.
Yeah. Well, that's. Oh, I guess I answered my question. Let's see. Oh, and before we go into what's going to move the plot forward about the Rovers, they still talked a little bit. There's a lot of sitting down and talking in this, but I appreciate these moments because you get to know both Amberly, where she's coming from, and Will, and they decide that they have a lot in common because the elves look after the land, and she wants to teach. That's part of the reason she wanted to be a teacher. She wanted to pass that on to the other humans, and he says that that is very much the way he feels about wanting to be a healer for the people. As a doctor, basically that's what he wants to do. So they find something in common, and then she throws the kicker. What will you do if you are placed in a situation where, in order to protect me, you must harm others, perhaps even cause them to die? In other words, are you willing to kill, Mr. Healer?
Yeah. Fair question, and all these thoughts go through her head. It's like, well, that I guess maybe we don't think of as the reader. It's like, well, this actually and can incur this, and this, if they continue to go on this journey. And, the risks are pretty high, especially as dangerous as it is with the demons out there hunting them. So, yeah.
Yeah. And usually that's one of the things, even in war, that doctors, they're neutral. They don't kill. They're just there to heal. And he doesn't even know if he will be able to. He says, I don't know what I'm going to do. And he's not comfortable. And she goes, is it her? Yes. She says, we cannot always anticipate the way in which things will happen, and therefore cannot anticipate what we will do.
I mean, it's pretty fair. Future is not set, it's delving into the unknown.
Yeah. And this also brought to mind for me, so easy for us to judge others, whether it's small situations or even big ones. The things that happen in the past in wars. Can we truly say what we would have done had we been in that exact same circumstance?
No, because it's different.
Yeah, not fairly. Yeah. So I think that's what she's saying. And I think that's a good point, and perhaps some foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, Stieg, you can't weigh too much in on this because it is foreshadowing?
I don't. Maybe.
Yeah. Or maybe this is just something that he felt like he had to address, with her being something of a tree hugger who doesn't want to be the chosen, and him being also a different kind of tree hugger. But that they will be facing, they're basically warriors now, whether they like it or not. All right. Well, and then we go to what I called the action part of these chapters, which is in chapter 14, where they awaken and the horse is gone. So that is a catalyst. The horse has been stolen, and they know it's from the Rovers. Again, another stereotype.
Yeah, filthy gypsy hookers took the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Steve is saying the stereotype, everyone. Please don't come after me and cancel.
It was in the book. I didn't write it.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. And they're like, okay, well, we need to go into the camp. And they're even saying how they're going to be tricksters, they're going to lie, all sorts. And that's exactly what ends up happening. It's like, I can't believe it. I guess it shows you how far I've come. Even that I notice these stereotypes. Speaking of stereotypes, I do have a picture that showed up in my book. Let me find it. Here he is. Here is the head of the gypsies. Oh, I thought I changed it. What's going on? Oh, I suck. I changed it, but Steek's picture was something different, so I need to share it. I'm boomering again. So, share screen. There we go. He's got it all, including the big earring. Is this how you thought that he would look? It was for me.
Yeah, it's pretty on point.
Yeah. And he is. He starts messing around with him. He's like, well, we didn't steal anything, but maybe you can buy it back from us. And it's like, ugh. Okay, and his name is Kefalo. Am I saying that correctly?
I thought it was Cepalo.
Yeah, I think it's Cephalo.
Okay, Cephalo. Yeah. Redneck Green says Captain Morgan wears the rum. Yeah, he does look a little bit like a pirate, doesn't he? A pirate gypsy. Oh my gosh. And then there's a chick. Oh, by the way, there's this thick black haired with ringlets and feathers and form-fitting clothes, high leather boots, silk. Eretria? Is that how you say her name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Eritrea or Eritrea.
I say Eritrea, but it's not very. They don't really tell you how to say this stuff, so
yeah. And a competition, if you will. My first thought was we were going to have a triangle. We're going to have a triangle now because
Will thinks she's hot.
Yeah, that's just all there is to it. And then when they had a big dance, she danced with him. He got drunk and
had a little too much fun.
Yeah, had a little too much fun. It says Eretria was there before him, clad all in scarlet silk, and dragged him into the dancers. And then he felt himself leave the ground, still holding Etria close, and then she was gone as well, and he began to fall. So the dude passed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but before that, the Cephalo was saying, well, what can you offer me? It's like, well, I'm a healer. I've studied with the store, so that's what I can offer you. And if I'm correct, I'm looking through the details here. Did they even end up making a deal about the horse, or is that still?
Yeah, they kind of did. So he said he had something of value to offer them, and Cephalo's like, oh well, if you have something of value, you may be, we may be able to, work out a deal or whatever, so to speak, And I know I'm paraphrasing here. And I don't think he realized that what Will meant was his power to heal, not, something, worth money, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay. And then that's how the chapter ends. But I didn't feel like this was a cliffhanger because it was very clear that the dude was drunk.
Yeah, and he just passed out.
It's like I had too much girl tonight, and likely it might be the first time he's had an exotic dancer come out. Or, wait, did I say exotic? Well, you know what I mean.
Stereotypes.
I meant exotic, like she is exotic and dancing. Bringing him out onto the dance floor. Son of a biatch. Oh, but yeah, that is how the chapter ended, and then that's what we came to the end with our reading. So maybe
Wait, that was the last chapter we were reading?
yeah, we read 6 chapters.
Oh, I'm ahead as well.
Or did I mess up? Because it was chapter 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14.
I thought we were going to end at 16.
Well, that would be 8 chapters.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Rennie, you had it too?
Yeah, I misunderstood, but I'll be honest with you. I think 6 chapters is more doable for me personally.
Yeah, it was definitely doable for me because I only read 6 chapters. I thought that we decided that because of the number of pages.
Yeah, I just read.
Okay. Well, chapter 10 says redneck gringa. I'm ahead too. Okay. Well, F my life. All right. Because when I was thinking about the chapters for us to read next time was that we would read up to chapter 21. No, up to chapter 21, meaning that chapter 20. So we were going to read chapter, because that would be 60 pages of reading. No, that'd be 70 pages of reading.
Yeah, that's a big chunk.
Well, Rennie and I are ahead, so
yeah,
for us it won't be so bad.
Okay. Well, do you want to read up to chapter 22 then?
I'll let Rennie decide.
It might be easier to do up to 20 for me, but don't do it on my account. I don't want to hold anybody back, but it may be a little bit easier, especially this being a really hectic
week.
Okay,
yeah. let's do up to chapter 20. So we're not going to read chapter 20. Yeah, Redneck Ringo said chapter 9, but it was chapter 10. Yeah, because
we can read
up,
chapter
Redneck.
20.
Okay,
yeah.
so we
that
can
would
read
be
chapter
6.
20. Okay, so 6. So we're going to read chapter, oh, son of a bitch, chapter 15 through 20. So we're going to end at 21. Am I right?
Okay, yeah.
Or do we read chapter 21? Wait, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, 6. Yeah, so we read through chapter 20. Stop when we reach chapter 21, and that's going to be 60 pages.
Yeah, that's doable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So while I'm once again feeling inadequate,
no, not at all. No, I was like doing a wait, what thing too, so you're fine.
Okay. And it's been 2 weeks and things have been happening. So as always, I like to open up at the end of these streams with a whole overall thoughts, anything from the beginning of the book up to these chapters that we have read. I want to first open it up to Rennie.
Yeah, I'll be kind of honest. Because they stole the horse, I'm not a fan of the Rovers, but don't like them very much, and I don't trust any of them. But I do think it's interesting to see the character growth and to get more. We get a little bit more explanation, so to speak, about the Elfstones. We get a little bit more explanation about, like, and this is from the beginning up until now, we get more explanation about elves, which is nice, or more information. And then, I definitely like the different characters. It's nice to have those callbacks because, it makes you a little bit more comfortable. It's like, well, I don't know who this person is at all, or this isn't grabbing my interest, because if this is supposed to be connected to this book, then how am I supposed to relate these characters to, what had happened previously? And it doesn't do that. So, yeah, so far I'm enjoying it. I don't like the demons though. They're scary, but, but that's all part of the fun. So, it's very interesting.
If they scare you now, they're gonna scare you more.
Oh yeah, no, I'm braced for it.
Little spoiler though, while this book is very separated from the first one, both of them are important in the third.
Oh,
the
Cute.
third kind of ties into both.
And
oh.
I will be honest, I thought I thought Will kind of had a little crush on what's her name? Amberly.
Mhm.
But then Cephalo's adopted daughter comes along, and I'm like, well, I guess maybe not. Maybe he doesn't have a thing for her. So that was an interesting
Oh,
twist.
start the shipping, right?
Yeah.
Well, I felt like it was sex.
Yeah.
Sex appeal.
Yeah.
Well, she kind of looks like Salma Hayek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows, I guess, how it's all going to turn out. Maybe they're all going to die at the end. Yeah. I found Amberly to be an interesting character. I'm hoping she's going to go far. That we're going to have some serious character development, that we're going to see a little bit more about why she was so adamant to leave the Chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think
that stuff is right around the corner.
Okay,
I think
good.
it's cool that she asks the questions that you should ask in those situations. Like, I mean, I wouldn't have thought to say some of those things that she said, but it's
Mhm.
like, oh, damn, that's reality, or that's stuff that you should ask about or inquire about or wonder, like, is this, this is going to be an issue, or, have you even thought of this? It's like, oh, okay.
I thought Brooks developed that way of thinking from the first book because Flick and Menion were questioning stuff in the first one,
Yeah.
but Amberly does it better.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, she's an elf.
Yes.
They're wiser. Stephen Ransom says this panel is a great trio. Why, thank you. We
Thank you.
try. Definitely appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy it, and hopefully getting something out of it. Yeah, I'm with Rennie though. I don't care for the Rovers. I'm just like, whatever.
There's
Just get the friggin' horse.
these chapters though introduced Cephalo and Eritrea, and Amberley. So, and also a new faction, I suppose, in the Rovers.
Mm-hmm.
So these chapters expanded quite a bit, and we also got to see the demon wolves.
Yeah. I was just waiting for them to set fire to all their wagons and then take their horse back and say, screw you guys, we're going on.
Well, they would have had it coming.
Yeah.
But they also probably would not have succeeded. They would have gotten their asses handed to them.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rovers are not helpless. They're stabby.
Yeah, we don't like.
Yeah.
We do not endorse stabby. And well, they even established that, Will's never done anything like that. Like, would Will even be able to kill or even to harm if the time came to be?
Yeah, and it also adds all kinds of dilemmas that might come back and bite him in the ass in the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because what if he runs into someone that by all reason, I should kill this person, but then he can't because of his healer background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. Well, this is also a bit of a mystery because of the whole map, almost like a treasure hunt thing. Like, where is Safeguard or Safeway or whatever the hell it's called?
Safe hold.
Thank you, Safe Hold. And how is it going to be solved?
Well, we know that it's near a column-like mountain, right?
Yeah.
Which, spoiler, look at the map.
Okay. All right, I'll look at the map. True. now that you've said it. Jacob Ironstein says, I thought the girl that got to play Amberly in the crappy series looked like the character.
Yeah, Poppy Drayton, I think her name was. She was really good.
Hmm.
There was nothing wrong with the actors. It was just the writing was horrendous, and it did not in any way resemble what the Shannara world should look like. I mean, they had ovens and bathtubs at the bottom of rivers.
Oh, weak.
Yeah,
That's pathetic.
and they had Shay show up. He's
Oh.
not in this book,
No.
and he looked like shit.
Mm.
Look, he actually looked like a biker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, leather jacket and all.
That's weak.
That's pathetic.
Really weak.
Ugh.
Mm.
Redneck Gringo says, I thought Amberly questioning of Will came from her background. She was used to the home guard that protects the royal family and the black guard, I think, that protect the chosen and the Elcrease.
Mm.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
And if he's there to kind of help her and protect her, she would probably want to know what he's capable of.
True. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Steve Ransom, the lovely Stabby may take issue with that, Steve. The lovely Sherry's other self. Okay, yeah. I'm familiar with the lovely Sherry. I guess she has a Jekyll and a Hyde. Redneck Gringo says, sort of like comparing those guards with Will and how he measured up this healer. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent point. Yeah. Sometimes I forget that she is a princess. So
Yeah.
there.
And the fact that we're having this discussion and with the people in the chat who are just as much involved, just shows how important it is to keep reading those old fantasy books, because if you've never read them before, right? And these were bestsellers. If you never read them before and you start reading them, it's new content.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I haven't read it, it's new to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's new, and I've done a pretty good job of staying away from spoilers, even though all I have to do is click a button. Look at the Wikipedia or there's probably like a World of Shannara wiki somewhere out there, like there is for most of them.
Yeah.
In the show, the Elchrist has a door in it.
What?
Yeah.
Like the Keebler elves.
Yeah.
And they get
Same
cookies.
thought.
Yeah.
Jacob Ironside said, yes, that's what happened. Shay saved the world and then became a biker.
Oh my
that's
gosh. That's
horrendous.
awful. I don't like that outcome. That's awful.
Yeah. And in the second season, they just take characters from all over the other books, even though they're separated by thousands of years.
So
They just,
pulled a
oh, yeah, look, we have a member
Lord.
berry. Yeah, well, that character died 1,000 years ago. Why is she there? You know?
kind of like what they did in Rings of Power.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Well, if there's a theme, there's a theme. Speaking of which, though, and this is slightly off topic, but the Rings of Power, even though I think most of them are pretty good actors, turns out that they were paid pennies for the roles. Like the lead actress who played Galadriel, she got $20,000 an episode. So for the whole thing, like $160,000. So they went really cheap. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine that? And the highest paid actor was paid $35,000. So they really went cheap.
Well,
lowballed them.
look at them though. There's hardly a well-known name in there.
Yeah.
I did see the one who plays Galadriel in a artsy horror movie-ish thing called Saint Maud.
Mm-hmm.
She was great in it.
Mm.
So she can act. It's just with the Rings of Power, it's the writing. You know,
Yeah.
You can't blame the actors for getting shit lines. You
Yeah,
know,
Yeah.
but
shit
the
direction.
guy who plays what's his name, the Latino elf. I've seen him in other stuff as well. He is horrendous, and he is bad on the Rings of Power too. He is just a bad actor.
Bad actor. Yeah. And the guy who played Celebrimbor, he was in Downton Abbey, so he's used to playing supporting characters.
Mhm.
The guy who plays Elrond is a really good actor. However, it doesn't feel like Elrond whatsoever. But his acting is really good.
Mm-hmm. Redneck Gringa says, "Did the tree's demise in Ring of Power remind you of the Elcrease? I had not read the other tales in Lord of the Rings besides The Hobbit, so forgive my ignorance."
No,
Well,
it
sorry, go
it,
ahead.
it it's a mythological theme. The Tree of Life dying. You'll see that in Norse mythology as well.
Yeah.
And the branches of the Tree of Life, basically is symbolizing different worlds. So, you know, Midgard, Utgard, what have you. All the worlds you see in the Thor movies.
Okay. And as far as whatever would be in the Rings of Power, since it doesn't have anything to do with the Lord of the Rings, it's not relevant. Yeah, because none of the other tales, they don't have the rights to the work that Tolkien has on this subject. So it's very possible they ripped off stuff, but it's not Tolkien.
The fun stuff is they were basing the show off the appendices. But in the appendices, there's only 20 pages that covers the Second Age.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So they had 20 pages to adapt, and they couldn't even do that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It should be fairly easy. You only have 20 pages. But no, couldn't even do that.
No, they just basically used the names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they basically sandboxed it, which is what they do with a lot of fantasy shows. That they did it with The Witcher after season 1. They basically take a franchise that comes with a lot of fans, so then you already have viewers, and then they stick to the source material a bit to begin with, and then they just do their own thing more and more. So basically, taking all the characters and the names and using them as pieces for a sandbox story, right? Which is what people do with fan fiction, really.
Mm-hmm.
But at least fan fiction is written by fans.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's stated. So I've written a little bit of fan fiction in my day, and the purpose of which has been for me something that I would like to see, or even a what if. Like, what if this hadn't happened? But it is what it is, and you know that it's not high quality. You're not trying to sell it for any other reason than just to be a bit of a guilty pleasure for people for free. But for some reason, they went this route with one of the most expensive TV shows in history. But when I saw how low paid the actors were, then it started to make sense. That's why they didn't get more established actors, because even if they wanted a more diverse cast, they could have. There's lots of actors out there that were diverse that they could have gotten, unless, and this is also a possibility, unless established actors didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. Be like, I know this is going to be crap. I ain't going to be in it.
Yeah.
You know what fan fiction reminds me of?
What?
It's like someone playing D&D alone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like choose your own adventure. Those old games, choose your own adventure books.
Yeah.
Like, okay, which decision should the character make? And then if he does this, turn to page 96 and continue
Yeah.
reading from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit like that. I think it's a hobby thing.
Yeah.
I think though, if you're writing fan fiction, it is not a good way to start a writing career because you're using other people's work.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
need
It
to,
worked for the 50 Shades of Grey chick.
yeah,
But that's rare, you know?
yeah.
You made
Basically,
money.
write your own stuff, create your own things, because that'll give you your own voice.
Yeah.
But you will need to tell your story.
Yeah. I've found when I did a lot of fan fiction for Once Upon a Time, I found it a good writing exercise, and wish fulfillment. And then there was a little bit of hope. Well, maybe if there's another fan that wanted a storyline to go, so it can be a good exercise, especially in practicing writing dialogue. However, I'm not a fiction writer. I'm a nonfiction writer, so it I can't say whether or not it affected me or not because I don't seriously write fiction. Do you want to get Elfstone? No. At present, says Stephen Ransom, is there in any IP, is there more fan fiction than any amount the original author contributed?
No, I don't think so. Because most authors can't endorse fan fiction. Not because they don't like it, but if they endorse it, whoever wrote it will pushing for it to be canon.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, they can't, like, almost contractually.
Yeah, and then let's say if a writer endorses a piece of fan fiction, right? Saying, "Yeah, this is great. The writer nailed it." 2 weeks later, the writer does another story that's completely fucked up, full of racism and whatever else. And the writer will be sitting there, shit, I endorse this person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and money will come into it as well. Because
Yeah,
then
I
they'll
think
try to get it published.
I've seen some George Martin and a couple of other writers have been asked this, and they said they don't mind that people write fan fiction, but try to write your own thing instead,
Mm-hmm.
because it's better for you if you want to be a writer. Simple as that.
Yeah. Hello, Snootapoopas. Thank you for being here. Stieg has been fishing very hard for you to make sure that you have plenty of fresh salmon.
Yes, I have a pallet of 67 salmon. I just shoved it out into the ocean, so it should be floating to your area someday soon.
There you go. You see, he's a very generous man.
Oh.
Now, yeah, the where fan fiction is at its best is for people that just want to be fan fiction writer. I mean, some people just get a kick out of it, and people liking their stuff and getting reviews. It's almost like a career, but it's a hobby. As long as you are realistic, and I think that that's the key for anything. Let's give a good example with YouTube, what I'm doing right now. I'm very realistic. I'm not gonna become this $1 million YouTube star. I'm doing this and I love what I'm doing, but have some realism. And I'm doing it for a hobby. Of course, I'd like to be monetized for several reasons, but it's not like it's a goal unto itself to have no illusions about who you are and where you are going. And in fan fiction, I think it's very similar, in my humble opinion. Stephen Ransom says, I hear you. My question is, will these companies endorse them? Could it be used to contest for copyright? Yeah, you see, that's... oh, sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, it'll only be a copyright issue if a person's trying to make money from it.
Yeah.
If it's just a non-profit thing, then they can't do anything about that.
Yeah. And most writers have a hands-off attitude toward it, because on the one hand, fan fiction can keep up interest in an IP, but it's always been understood that you the second you try to monetize it, they'll come after you.
Yeah, and sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say that some writers like Anne Rice did not like fan fiction, and websites like fanfiction.net respected that and won't accept fan fiction by Anne Rice stories.
Well, if you think about it, though, a lot of the bigger fantasy IPs and such have had role-playing games made. Tabletop role-playing games made of that world, right? Because you have one for The Witcher, you have one for Game of Thrones. There's Star Wars. There's Diablo, Wheel of Time had one, and that is fan fiction, isn't it? It's basically here's the tools for fan fiction.
Yeah.
Good point. Redneck Gringo. Also, what if the author had come up with a story idea and someone had written a similar fanfic? Now the author won't be able to publish it without worry of fanfic author claiming plagiarism. Precisely.
Yes. Also a very good point.
Mm-hmm. Thor Poopa says, I accept your tribute. Your pets are safe. Well, Redneck Gringo says, some authors won't allow online publication of fan fiction even without monetizing. Yeah, good point. Yes, I was saying Anne Rice's one. George R. R. Martin won't, but they allow fan fiction based on the TV series. Ah, fair.
Yeah, because the TV series is fan fiction anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gosh darn it. Yeah, but it was bad fan fiction, because I've read some fan fictions that were more internally logical than the Game of Thrones TV series turned out to be. Steve Redsup says, speaking of Anne Rice, have you all seen any of this thing called Interview with the Vampire? My dear Anne, I am sorry. I have not seen the new adaptation. I have not heard good things about it, and I have no desire to watch it.
Yeah, it doesn't look very good, so I haven't. It hasn't captured my interest, so I just haven't wanted to watch it.
Yeah. Very few things that are new do I like to watch anymore, because they're poisoned, for lack of a better word. The only new content I've been watching is Cobra Kai, the Manifest. Manifest is, I think, is a very good show, but it does not have these awful elements. And some of these things showing up on Netflix from like Korea, they have some good stuff. But beyond that, anything new, screw it.
Yeah.
Downton Abbey. But Downton Abbey has always been a soap opera. It's
Why do people always bring up Downton Abbey around me?
Well, no, I was trying to think of new content I watch, and I do continue to watch Downton Abbey. But yes, we bring it around you because you remind us of it. But
you're the lovely Lord Steak.
Precisely. Prince Charles III's or King Charles III's illegitimate son.
Hell no, I don't have the ears for it.
Oh, that's true. No.
Oh, shucks.
Well, you're more his son than Harry.
I don't think Rennie knows what I look like, actually.
I do. I've seen that pic where you did the one. No, there was the one where he did the makeup thing or makeup filter. So it had like the picture of him and then the picture of him with the makeup on as a girl, where it turns you, like if you're a girl, it turns you into a guy.
That was an app, by the way, just to be clear. I did not put on makeup.
Oh, I thought you said that you got made up by a friend. No, just kidding.
Oh, no. You were a very pretty girl, though.
Yeah.
I will admit. Yeah,
the app did it very well for you.
Yeah. She didn't have any tits.
Snore Poopa says Steve's cortex isn't smooth enough to be a royal. Oh no. Yeah, I was saying new content I watch. Well, first of all, Downton Abbey, like all soap operas, is already naturally diverse because that's just the way soap operas have always been. So they didn't have to do weird stuff to make it any different. They didn't have to change the formula. Also, Maverick. Maverick, I guess that's the Top Gun, though I don't think we're going to get another movie, but that certainly was good. Also, John Wick. Actually, John Wick is the new content I'll watch.
They said they're going to make a Mission Impossible 5, or not 5, so whatever number it's going to be. They're going to make a new one with Tom Cruise. But not really a fan of Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I'm not either, but I did like... I liked what he did with Maverick. I thought that was great. Have you seen it yet?
That one was awesome.
Not yet, no.
Oh, it's good. It's really good. I think you need to see it in the cinema, but I think it's too late because those airplane scenes, those fighter jet scenes were just amazing. Absolutely amazing to see in the cinema. I enjoyed it. But besides that, I guess I just got done saying I don't watch any new content. Well, but that's still like on one hand, I couldn't really care less about anything else because who wants to watch something where at the end of it you feel yucky? Oh, for crying out loud!
Or I just wasted 2 hours of my life.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Go continue. I hung up.
No, you're fine. I'm just like, I hate that where you watch it. It's like, well, I can't get that time back. That's great.
Yep. Yeah. And also that makes you feel bad. I think we can all talk about just that one image of Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi with the milk. How that it was vomit inducing. It changed everything about how you even look at Luke Skywalker. It's something that venomous.
Traumatic. It was traumatic for me.
Yeah, traumatic. Oh, Steve, are you doxing yourself?
Yeah, I put up a picture. I took it once to show drunk 3PO how to dress properly 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have another one.
Well, you heard it here first.
There you go.
He's not a girl. Okay, yeah, there he is. You have a very grim look on your face.
You do.
Yeah, that's how I look when I'm happy.
That is me smiling.
You lie. I've seen you happy. That's not how you look.
And see, I don't look like Alec Guinness either.
No, you do not.
No.
You look like Steve. Let's see. Rennie, no Cruise for her. Oh, Tom Cruise. Of course, I was thinking Cruise. Yeah. You've got that. You look like a serial killer.
Oh.
Well, no, that picture he does. Look, he's staring right at you.
It is a bit of a...
Well, I was looking at the camera.
Oh, gosh, Nora Poopa says that's just the way Norwegians look.
Yes.
I know there's all that rage about that Dahmer show with Evan, what's his name? Evan Peters. But I just feel like that's a subject that I don't want to be entertained by. Yeah, it's very gruesome. Yeah. So, but a lot
Evan
of people
Peters,
like
though, is a tremendous actor.
He's great in American Horror Story.
He is good and versatile.
Oh, I do like American Horror Story.
I liked it until they started getting political.
I stopped watching. I think the last season I've seen is Cult, which was season 8. It was really good, but disturbing AF. But it was really good.
Timon Flip says, no more anti-heroes and sympathetic villains. Yeah, I'm getting sick to death of that. Stephen Ransom says, Stieg equals stoicism. Correct.
Stoic Stieg.
I believe it's being sardonic with a stoic execution.
All right, then.
See, and that's what I've said this once, I've said this twice, I'm going to say it again. The only time I have doubted the existence of God is when I ponder the fact that he gave Stieg the gift to speak like that in his second language. It's not fair.
It's called playing video games when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And reading books.
Okay. True. Well, I guess if I could only play video games in German and watch movies and
in the old Leisure Suit Larry games, you had to type.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's fair. That's the way all video games used to be. Rennie, me too. Serial killers are entertaining. I like to watch documentaries. Sometimes docudramas, like the one with himself, John Dahmer, that might be a bit much. I don't know.
It's kind of a weird genre, though. Personally, I just eat cereal. I'd never kill it.
There is something fascinating about it. What do they call it? They call it murder porn.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, especially those shows where, like, they do it's like almost like a documentary, like, some of the Dateline specials or whatever, where they talked about how this person almost got killed or how this person got killed, but then they got caught. And it's like, yeah, I don't know if I like that stuff. It's a little disturbing.
Yeah. Well, Criminal Minds, because that was all fictionalized of all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucked up. Wow. Well, speaking of effed up, actually, that was not a transition. That was that was a transition without a place to go. I'm gonna wind down this party. Before we leave, any parting thoughts? I'm gonna start this time with Stieg.
About the book, or
well, yeah, I guess about the book, yeah, or anything else. I suppose.
No,
I did say it was a free fall.
It's one of my favorite fantasy books. It was the first non-Tolkien fantasy book I read.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoy it, and it's gonna get a lot better too. So if you're happy with it now, it's getting better.
Yay! Okay, Rennie.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the ride so far. I don't want to give too much away, but I have some thoughts or some hypotheses of where this could be going, or whatnot. So that's one thing that whenever I stop reading the chapters, I always have that anticipation of what's coming next, but my mind goes to all these places of possibilities and what could happen next.
Well, that's a really good thing, though, because it means your mind is invested.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, yeah, what he said. Timon's recommending I should watch The Uncanny Counter on Netflix. I think you will like it. Oh, well, I will give it a look. I will. Yeah, what you all said. Here's what I'll do. I'll make sure to put in our chat the chapters we're supposed to read. So if I forget, and if anyone forgets, we can just reference it there. Especially me. I'm thinking of me, so we get the right amount.
I can't make excuses or any promises for what my brain will or will not remember. So yeah. I appreciate that as well. So
well, yeah, because I'm the one in charge, and I couldn't even remember. I mean, for crying out loud. So this way we'll all be honest, and Steve can just judge us. But I judge him for not.
Oh, I judge people anyway. So
I was gonna say that's nothing new.
Yeah. But I judge you for not looking at the Northern Lights.
I was sleeping.
You could wake up.
And then go back.
Yeah, because they're so noisy, aren't they?
Well, Well, there's a hotel I used to go to in Iceland that will give you a wake up call if the northern lights happen. But I was there in the summer, so.
No,
I've seen them 100 times anyway, though. It's
yeah, we just don't have that in this region.
No, you got to go up to like Alaska or northern Canada.
Yeah.
Gosh. Gee whiz, ungrateful person. Well, sort of Poopus gets to see it from his iceberg, I'm sure.
yeah, he uses it as a reading light, I believe.
He's so like, what cute. A beautiful night for a salmon.
Yes. All right. I'm going to wrap this up. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. And be certain to wake up.
I'm not saying shit, because last time it was bad.
You got in big trouble last time. I was going to say, be certain to wake up and see the northern lights if you can.